joining the Kirin Rise University, and I am at Cruise, and today, it's not live. I know the last 2 weeks I've done live versions of the stream, and I kind of didn't do a good job as far as telling you guys in advance, but you guys know every Monday I update at 11 p.m. Chicago Central Time, and today we're going to go over something very important, very difficult to understand, but fortunately I've come up with a way for you to hopefully digest this idea as far as the concept in Wing Chun. So if you haven't done so already, subscribe to Kirin Rise University. All our social media stuff's below. And by the way, comments, questions, I'll easily appreciate every question you've had before, and I'll try my best and answer them as well. So for today, everyone knows that I've had several videos as far as 20 single man techniques, doing punches and so forth, okay? So let's look at one motion and then we'll take it from there. So standing from this motion, we have something as simple as tan. So you have a tanza motion, and oftentimes you hear the comment or question or phrase, you have to stay square, okay? What exactly does stay square mean? And the best way to describe it is, it doesn't mean that the hands visually have to be exactly like a triangle, right? If you look at this as a base, my hands are exactly triangle, but the sensation and feel of it has to be square. What does that mean? So for example, if I'm doing a push-up, okay, imagine me doing a push-up and I'm uneven like this. So my hand would be like this doing a push-up. So if I did a push-up right now in front of you, it would feel like I'm like trying to push one side or another, or if it's like this, it's pushing one side or another. What I want the end result is, even if my hands are not evenly like this, like here, I can do an even push-ups. But let's say my left hand is further out than my right hand. If I push with both hands, notice my body evenly moves back. If I retrace back, it evenly moves back and forth. See, that's the squareness I'm looking for. I'm not looking for like this. If I push, or I under push, or adjust from this point, I don't have that unevenness. Even though my hands are uneven, notice my body stays square. So that's a very difficult concept, because a lot of times in the beginning when you first train, it's all about technique. Get the technique down. Technique is basically learning the motion. But just because you have the motion doesn't mean that's the finalized stage to it. So for example, if we have tanza out here, it looks like a regular tanza motion. That doesn't necessarily mean when people do tanza, it's square. Oftentimes, and I will use my kali stick here to help me out here. Oftentimes, when you do a motion, the emphasis either goes on the active hand. The active hand is basically the hand that's leading the motion, as opposed to the guard hand. So the active hand, as opposed to passive hand, gets more of the emphasis. It's kind of like when you punch, people feel more of the punch as opposed to the rear hand. But in reality, when you practice, both sides are equally important. In order for it to function, both sides have to have the same value as far as tension, speed, and so forth, okay? So if you look at it, if I do tanza, if here's my guard hand right now, right? My guard in itself is even. So if you look at it from the side perspective, this is even right here. And I'll give you multiple angles to look at it. If I'm here, my guard hand, and I go tan, right? I do tanza motion. If you look at it from the side, I go tan. See how my elbows, I'm keeping this in line, is not exactly in line, okay? And that means I have, just like that example I give you, forward and backward, uneven. You don't want that, because if it's uneven in that extent, you won't get the function and the power of the triangle structure. So when I do tan, right, I do the tanza motion, and you see how it's uneven. People don't know how to actually adjust this to make it work. So from this position here, right, what I'm going to do is, you look at the base of the body. The base of the body is like the joystick, the controller. A lot of times people just adjust the hands or the elbow and stuff like that. What you want to do from this position is here. Okay, I'll do it again. Even, uneven, right? I have more extension on this side. I'll overemphasize it. So I look at the base from the shoulder to shoulder, and look what I do. I adjust the base, and now look. See how it would look from the side? That's even, that's square. See, if I go like this, uneven, I adjust the, uneven like this, and then from here I adjust the base, and now look. When you look at the base from this perspective, elbows are basically in line, okay? Now the thing to remember is how I did that. I'm using the shoulders. The shoulders are the joysticks that actually control the elbows, right? As far as leading, as far as adjusting and making things even. No different from when you do the push-ups, right? Uneven push-up, and you're trying to adjust it like this way, you can't get it this way. I look at the base here, and from the base, boom. I'm adjusting it so I can have that evenness. When you have that squareness, the end result of what you actually want to achieve from that squareness is basically a solid wall. Why is that so important? Because if you can create a solid wall from this side, whether it is the opponent's job then to dictate the path, or you can dictate it either way. You can actually go back and forth with this. How? If I'm even like this, if I feel more weight on this side, that tells me to go the other side right away. If I feel more weight on this side, that tells me to go the other way right away. So by staying square, me personally, if the opponent teeters and totters off one side or another, that's my opening to go from one point to another. But me, as far as the opponent is concerned, when he feels me, this is all he feels. Even like this. Even if we adjust like this, it still feels like solid wall both sides. I'm not giving him a side to pick left side or right side because my balance is actually square to him. That makes sense? So by staying square to him, he has no option. But if he doesn't know how to maintain his squareness, one side has more, I go that side. One side has less, I go on the other side. And that's the value of staying square and how to maintain that squareness. So if you can look like this, right? It looks okay, but this is square. If you can look like this, looks okay. This is square. You can look like this is square. One is square, one is not, okay? And hopefully, with this little instruction, this will help you figure out exactly how to stay square. And it's so vital to stay square. If you're not square in Wing Chun, you're losing the structural strength of the triangle overall. All right. Hopefully, everyone got that. Zoom classes still continue here. Tuesday, Thursday, check out on Kirin Rise Facebook. If you haven't done so already, if you haven't gotten to Amazon, my book series, Kirin Rise, The Cast of Shadows, Shadows Unleashed and Shadows Within are all available on Amazon. And also, make sure you find your Gung Fu. I will be back next week. Questions, comments, I'll be glad to answer them for you. Later.